Latinos Out Loud podcast. Latinos, 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 Latinos. Yeah, that's what it is. Latinos Out Loud.
Yo, 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 mi gente. Hello. How you doing? It's your girl, Rachel La Loca, here with the Latinos Out Loud podcast. Yes, I had my mushroom chicory coffee this morning, and I'm feeling on point, okay? I have to say, I have given up Café Bustelo, which is crazy because I've been drinking it since I was in the womb because my mother was drinking it and giving it to me through, like, the whole stuff. But, yeah, this is so great. I love interviewing powerful Latinas. It's just like, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror and I'm feeding off of the power from the Latinidad coming across. And this time it's coming across via the Zoom airways. I am so excited, LOLeros, to be talking to Vivian Lamolli. Am I saying it right? Lamolli? Lamolli?
You got it, girl.
Okay, and Vannessa Vásquez, they are a part of this amazing romantic comedy called Say a Little Prayer, which is starring Luis Fonsi. I said it, Luis Fo. Okay, I don't know if anybody calls him Luis Fo, but I just did. And I'm so excited to talk about love and this film, which I got to see a little bit of, which is so awesome because we're seeing powerful Latinas, not only you guys in real life, but also on screen, art gallery buying. Like, you don't see that every day. And I love that. Hello, Vanessa and Vivian. V and V here for me. What's up, ladies?
Let's go. Woo! I'm awake now, mommy. If I wasn't before, I am now.
Okay, maybe Melissa didn't tell you about my energy, but this is me 24/7, 365, 7 days a week, all the minutes in the day, which I don't know the number to. I'm not that good at math, but this is it. And I swear to you, I gave up like Café Bustelo. I don't know what. Go ahead.
You don't even need it. It's in your DNA already.
Café Bustelo, and you're making me realize that the little sips of coffee I take for my baby boy, I'm a little nervous now. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you with child?
Yeah, I'm 7 months now.
Oh my God! Congratulations. Girl, from the turtleneck up, you don't look pregnant. You look fantastic.
Thank you, mamita.
How do you feel?
I feel really good. Honestly, all of the horror stories, whatever that you hear, I'm a little shocked. Like, I'm like, wait a second. But now I'm nervous about, birthing.
Yeah.
But the whole pregnancy has been so smooth. No nausea, nada. And I feel I can still work out. I've just been feeling really healthy.
That's amazing, Vivian, because it's hit or miss. Seriously, I have two of these things, babies, and like,
Like I
they're
got two
great.
of these things crawling around.
Yeah, they're not crawling anymore except for under my skin. But now they're 9 and 6. I have two boys. I was able to work during the pregnancy until a certain point, but it sounds like you've been able to do the same.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean it's all over the gram, it's all over social medias and stuff, and people still, for instance, are like, wait a second, when? How? I'm like, well, I can tell you how, but
yeah, we know, we want to know how. Tell us more.
Well, that's for another podcast. No,
Okay.
Or another Zoom. No, quería decir que I think it's true about the trimesters. I mean, the first one could be really crazy. I feel like I was just mentally preparing myself. The second was like, oh, I feel really good. I can work out again. I feel like I can go out and about and see people dance, a bailar, do red carpets, whatever. And work as well. And then this coming into the third, I'm bracing myself because there's some movement. There's some things shifting around to get him ready to, bounce.
Yeah. Well, it's so exciting, and I'll tell you this much, like, I worked till the end with both, and I was doing comedy. I'm on stage rolling around, not on my belly, but rolling around on my butt and stuff.
Wow, this is so good to hear.
Yeah, and the little one, I don't know if it was comedy by osmosis. He's so funny. My 6-year-old tells jokes like an old Jewish comedian. It's so hilarious. And I'm like, oh, because he was in the womb hearing it all. So was baby boy in the womb during the shooting for Say a Little Prayer?
Oh, no, no, no. That would have been like, he would be 3 by now.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
No,
tell
no,
me more.
no. No, it's all
So
good.
maybe you
I,
and Vanessa could tell me more about when it was shot, and
yeah,
tell me. I want to
yeah.
come along on this journey
I
of
love
Say a
it. We
Little
gotta,
Prayer. Tell
absolutely.
us about the beginning of the journey. Where did this start? How did this come across your desks?
How did this baby blossom? Do you want to
Yeah.
in Vivi?
Vivian, you can start.
Oh,
This is
okay. uh, you know, okay, Nancy De Los Santos Reza. That's the name I'm gonna say, put out there. I mean, God first and foremost, but Nancy was one of the writers for a little show called East Los High that also
Mhm.
Vanessa and I both were on together, and I hadn't seen her. Matter of fact, we hadn't really officially met, but she had seen obviously our faces all the time, and was working within that camp. And I was at an opening for a play at Pasadena Playhouse, and her movie came to mind, and we reconnected there, and she had brought it up to me, and I was just like, of course I'm down for it. This sounds amazing. And, we just vibed in that moment. And next thing I knew, I had an audition for it and callbacks and the whole process, and fell in love with the team right away. Patrick, Christina, Nancy, everybody. And without knowing who was playing who, I don't even think I knew Vanessa. I didn't know that you had already had Adela, but you knew the people that they were auditioning and stuff, or that I had been getting a call back, and it was just all a sweet surprise, I think, packaged into something that really made sense at the time. But that was back in what, 2022. um and yeah, the rest is history. We all really bonded, and I was very grateful to receive the role. I know this was a great role, a great script. A lot of people were vying for it. Um, so it felt like a fit, and manifesting it into what it is today, I couldn't never have even imagined. So that's the blossoming story, I think, for me.
Mine was a little different. I had worked with Patrick, the director, and Christina before on a different rom-com that we had done, and the character was completely different. Totally. The other previous character was wacky, kooky, quirky, big, and like even like the way she looked was so different. But I got to work with Patrick, and he got to see my different levels and what he can pull out of me and what I could push. And he was like, Vanessa's from Texas. This character Adela from this story is from Texas. I know Vanessa
Yeah.
full of drama and comedy. I want her, to play the lead in this. So this was 6 months before we started shooting, 7 months. And they sent me the script, Christina and Nancy, and I was out of town in Mexico or in Puerto Vallarta with my mom. And my mom at that moment was like, you need to read this tonight. I know you're here for my birthday, but you need to read this. We're on vacation y lo vas a leer, and you're not going out. So I read it, and like had chills all over my body. And I already know right away when I get chills, that's like a sign from God, the universe, angels, that's like, Mija, come this way. And so I said yes. And I said, I connected with this on so many things. Yes. But Christina was very honest with me, the producer, Christina Navas. She said, Vanessa, we're still in the very early stages of this. We have to do our due diligence. We just wanted to know what you feel because you are our first choice. But we have other producers and director and other producers that want to also audition other people or interview other people. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Go do what you have to do. Um, and I just redirected my energy on working on myself, on, my career, and just let it go. Cut to 6 months later, they reach out to me, and they're like, we've looked around, and we still feel like you're the girl for us. You're Adela, and we'd like to make you an offer. And I was like, okay, and so it was about 2 weeks before I think they finally like came into an offer. Because they already had Luis Fonsi, they had Edward James Olmos, who was working with them, and I think Vivian had just closed And yeah, that's why I wasn't able to say anything because I was still in negotiations. And so yeah, it all I just trusted. I was like, you know what, if it's meant for me, it's gonna happen, and we just have to let it go, and everything will work out, and it did. So.
That's beautiful. There's a couple of things that I feel like are tied into this movie that maybe you experience in real life. One of them being spirituality. I know as a Latina, if you go to my bathroom, you see my candle, my sage, you know, my altar. Um, did the spirituality that you have in real life come out to play during this film? Or if you weren't a believer in spirituality before filming this movie, are you now? And that question is for both of you.
I mean, I know for me, yeah, I even consulted on some of the terminology of the script when it first came to me. I said, I love this, and this, but we want to make it more modern, people, and I just kind of gave my input in terms of where women are at now in spirituality and the connection with our Christian influence, right? So, and that comes again from my own um, my own spirituality. So yeah, that's how I kind of felt connected to it in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have it's almost like how could we not? It's such a beautiful tapestry of different types of spirituality too that are so accepting. The film is so diverse. I am a Christian. I'm a believer in Christ, and for me, I it's a little different in the film for Christina, but you guys will get to see. And I think anyone who believes in something so hard, and Christina kind of being the glue, that's my character, her being the glue, I believe within the friend group, um, I start to, or she starts to have this energy of like, wow, if Adela believes and we believe and we all believe, we could all get this going. We could get this together and have some love in our lives. So absolutely, I think the signs and the little moments of love that we each have with our significant others really comes together in the light of God, bringing that message to all of us.
Yeah, I
The
think
other, oh, I'm
it's
sorry,
like
please.
believing. No, I was just gonna say, like we say that a lot, like believe, believe.
Like
It's not
encouraging
believe.
each other for sure.
The other part that I feel is so true to life and seeing these three Latinas on screen is friendship. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about that chemistry between you two and Jackie Cruz, who we know from Orange is the New Black and so many other amazing things. She plays Ruby. So what was that like? I mean, did you guys click right away? Are you friends outside of showbiz? Tell me about that chemistry because we see it on screen and it just reminds me of me and my girls. Like that's us. That's like when Latinas get together. I mean, it could be for when any clique of girls gets together, but I know in my experience, we are loud, we are talking about love, we are wishing each other well, we're getting into trouble together. So tell me about the chemistry among you three.
Go girl.
Well, I already knew Vivian from East Los High, and we've known each other. We already known each other like 8 years. I didn't know Jackie. I knew her from, being in the industry. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of felt like I mean, I've worked with so many people all the time, and when we work with Latinas, I think um, any Latinos, honestly, it's just a party all the time. It's just like you connect, and it's like, all right, we're here, we're in this for something bigger, and that's I think reminding ourselves that every day that we're so fortunate to have, these positions, these roles, and let's just have fun. Let's create something beautiful. I think that like what ultimately keeps us connected.
Absolutely. I feel like just getting it together on set and realizing that we all come from the whole entire Latinidad, but also different facets of life. We were able to kind of join that together. And for instance, like seeing Jackie just being a new mom and having her twins there was such a phenomenal thing for me, not knowing obviously now where I would be in life, but being a part of that and seeing her grow in that way, and then knowing Vannessa since I've been like, we was rocking it in our 20s, so it's just kind of like, not that we're that old. But when Islos, you know, first started, that was what, like a decade ago, right?
Wow.
Even a little bit more now.
More than
I,
that.
I was like maybe like 12 years, something like that. 12, 13 years. But to be honest, I feel like just what Vannessa said, you know, just God allowing us to have this opportunity, I think it gets you all of us excited and ready to kind of flow behind the scenes and in front of the camera. And it always means so much to us when we hear that the chemistry was just so good, because those types of friendships, they're like, they don't come all the time. And to show others that, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have your friendship blossom like that, I think we had that in the bag.
It comes across. What also comes across is chemistry with the whole cast, really, which this is quite the cast, you guys. Listen, I'm an SNL nerd. I've been following Chris Kattan's career for a really long time. I mentioned Jackie Cruz, Pepe Serna. You've got musical icons in the mix. Angélica María, who I swear, if I mention that name in front of my mother, she's going to tell me her whole like telenovela repertoire. But lots of amazing talent. Luis Fonsi, I mentioned. So tell us about any fun moments or moments that stand out in filming with this slew of stars that you were with all day.
Music
Yeah,
behind the scenes. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, mine's kind of real quick. V was there too. I feel like, first of all, we forget when we're younger just how much these musicians and actors and talents and artists have an influence on our lives, when we're growing up. And one of my favorite songs, just in general though, Fonzi's career and his music is so epic and so touching and so loving. And as a musician myself and a writer, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing to have this moment with you. But there's a song that he does with Christina Aguilera on her Spanish album, and I'm gonna be very specific because I know you asked for a moment. And there were times after set where we'd be, you know, exhausted, and we'd maybe all come together like for drinks or just to hang out and play music, or, you know, just relate to each other. That's some of the best. That's like the yummiest time to really connect. And I was like, can you sing that song with me? I got bold, girl. I got bold.
I love it.
And it's si no hubiera conocido. Did I get it right?
That sounded
And,
very good.
I was like, you know the song?
No, I don't.
And I just like I just was like singing all of her part and his verses, and he's like, girl,
Aw.
you know it, but you know that real well. You do the whole song.
You had a duet with Luis Fonsi, a
I
duet
mean,
on
I
set,
guess-
bars.
I feel like
Oh
we
my
can call
gosh.
it that. I feel like Fonzie, right, Vannessa? He'd be like, yeah, I guess so. I guess we can call it that.
Yeah, he's really cool down there.
He's just really cool about it. He was really cool about it because I wasn't trying to do all that. I obviously while we were shooting too, but it was just a moment in time that I was like, wait, I love this song so much. Don't you love this song that you made? So it was a really fun moment. That was my specific moment.
I love that so much. Vanessa, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it was like, I mean, I've said this before. As soon as I found out I was working with Angélica María and Chris Kattan, I mean, I like you, I've grown up watching him his whole career. I'm a huge fan of all the comedies. And Angélica María, I grew up watching her with my abuela, and now she was playing my abuela. It was so surreal for me. And I literally had chills like every day on set. When she first came and looked at me, she was like, Mija, and her eyes just glistened. My heart like melted out of me. And I was like, oh my God. And the first day on set, I cried. I really felt
Aw.
spiritually that my grandma was with me. And my grandma and I used to go to San Antonio all the time for weekend trips. So when I first arrived and I knew that Angélica María was there, I just kind of felt like my grandmas were with me. And every time she came on set, it was so surreal for me. And then when I was, and the Patrick told me that I was going to get to work with Chris Kattan. And as someone who's also studied improv and, stand up and just these comedy icons, I was so giddy and so nervous to work with him and to feel like, oh my God, am I going to get to do some improv with him? Am I going to be on a little trip with him or whatever? But he was so cool and so much fun and so down to earth. And he was just like, and after I did a scene, I was like, oh my God. And because you catch on to their vibes, right? And I caught on to his vibe and I was able to play and be more, I felt in the scene and like quirky and silly because he was also there too, right? Giving me that energy. And afterwards, I was like, oh my God, did I overdo it? I was in my head. I was like, maybe I did too much, and then he was like, you were great. That was great. And I was like, oh my God, he said I did great. I was like, okay, Chrissy Tan gave me a little validation. I'm good. So
I
yeah, it
love
was a lot of fun.
That is so great. I mean, I am a student of comedy. I studied here in New York City at the Upright Citizens Brigade and
Me
sketch
too.
comedy. You did? UCB in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, like when you're on a stage or on set with someone who you've learned from, and now
Mhm.
maybe, just maybe, they're going to be learning from you. That's a synergy. That's like an exchange that is like mind blowing. So,
Yeah. Because sometimes you get so caught up in it, and then you wonder if you're overdoing too much, and then you get scared. You're like, am I overdoing? Am I outshining someone? Well, I don't want them to think I'm outshining them. But like, whenever you have someone that comes in with that element, right, already, you don't have to dim yourself. You just match theirs, and you feel like you are enough. And then
ah,
I'm like, oh my God,
love
finally,
that.
I was in that energy with him and just like playing. And then for the fact that he came and was like, that was great. And I was like, okay, we were in it together. We were like, our energy was reciprocated. So it was a treat for sure.
It sounds like you guys got so much from working on this project, which really it's like a dream come true when it's not just work, when you're
Yeah.
actually connecting with this PDF, this script, and you're shining light on it and bringing it to the community. I really can't wait. I just want to tell everybody about this movie. I would like to ask you questions about your characters now. Like, what are some things that you want us, the viewers, to take away from Adela and Christina's journey in the film?
There's so many things, especially Christina being a single mother and having her son is going into middle school. He's still in elementary, going into the middle school lifestyle. I think that something that was very important to remember and to be engaged with was the fact that he doesn't isn't the only thing that, I mean, yes, one of the most important things in her life, but she's also driven by her friendships, by her faith, by her energy of being a New Yorican
Mm.
and having her own identity. I think that that's so important as a mom as well. I'm sure that you know as well, La Loca, Rachel, to have your own identity. And I can see that, you've built that. So it's something I think to take that message away from this film is so important, I believe, to all of us working on it and who have built that character, that these three women, we have our own identities as entrepreneurs and having dreams and wanting to fall in love um, and just really being in sync with each other about that too. It's so important to have that locked in. So a few things there.
If I may jump in before you speak, Vanessa, I have to say, I didn't always know who I was after being a mom. I got lost for a while. I was just a mom for a really long time. I'm like, oh, I don't think I can ever be a comedian again because my breasts are here for nutrition. They're not even sexy anymore. I'm just this like vessel that housed these little humans, and now I'm only defining myself as a mother. And I think so many women, and this is a message to you, because soon, I mean, it's about to be popping.
Happening.
Okay. I just, if I could give you some words of advice
Please.
real quick, is like, please don't forget who you are, who you were, and who you're going to become. Because all three are kind of different, but they all mesh together to form this amazing Vivian, this amazing Rachel, this amazing Vanessa. It took me a while. I got lost in the sauce, and then I just kind of slapped myself one day, and I'm like, shh, shh, bitch, what are you doing? Like, you forgot who you were? You're La Loca. You're not just like Mother Goose. How
Yes.
boring is that? I can't be boring. I don't even know what that means. So I had to find myself again. And it was getting back on stage, and it was losing a bunch of weight, because in that like lost in the sauce motherhood journey, I was eating the sauce and a lot of it. And I gained like 80 pounds. And I'm like, 225-pound me is not me. Like,
Wow.
I can't be rolling around the sketch comedy stages, cracking my ankles, you know what I'm saying? Breaking stuff just because I'm overweight. So, like, I found myself again, and oh God, I'm having a moment. This isn't about me. It's about you. What am I doing?
Oh, I love it. I think it's
What?
a conversation.
I'm
But
having a moment because, yeah, like, it's real. I had to find out how to get her back, how to, like Austin Powers, find my mojo again, or my mojito sauce. So I found it,
that
and
is I'm here for it all. I am here for it all. But yes, you finding it
thanks.
again, you finding it again. It's an inspiration. It really is, because we see a lot of women doing it within this industry, and I'm so inspired by that. I bring in Jackie because she's not here right now, but she's here in spirit, and I love that. She had just had twins when she
Oh my
got onto the
God.
set, just like dee, 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 da, 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 like back and forth with her babies, and a boy and a girl. And
It's
so
incredible.
so beautiful to see, and it's a lovely thing to see her continue doing what she loves, and also bringing those babies and her tribe onto the scene.
It's
For that.
remarkable. So, Vanessa, back to you. Like, okay, if we can out of this moment, what an amazing moment.
I
But
I I think for it, like Adela, I really want people to feel like all your dreams are valid and you create the life that you want to. Sorry, this is my child. I've
hi,
been
baby.
I've been wrangling him
Hi.
the whole time over here because he's so unsettled. He needs to go
Yo,
out.
I
I
saw like
love that he's there with you.
I saw like three hairs from the bottom, and I'm like, either somebody got a shave or she's got like an animal on her lap or
I'm
something.
basically breastfeeding him over here. Like that, this is my situation. But
Toby.
yeah, you know what? Like how it ties into my life and like what I loved about the character and my experience with my friends, right? My best friends that I've grown up with, they all have kids. I'm the only one that doesn't have kids. I'm traveling the world. I'm, doing what I love to do. And finally, last year, I finally dropped the guilt of loving my life the way it is. Like
Yes.
so long, there's this guilt of like, when are you going to find the love of your life? When are you going to get married? Why don't you have kids? Well, or you can okay, you had your career, now get married, now have kids. And I was just like, leave me alone. I love
Yes.
my life. I love my freedom. I love leaving my dog in my apartment and going to the museum for 3 hours and like not worrying that I don't have to get a babysitter for him because he can take care of himself. Like this is
Yes.
my dream, and my dream. And if my life were to change, because if something happens, someone knocks me up, okay, then that happens. But right now, I am so in love with my life the way it is. And I think, that whatever your life you choose and whatever makes you happy, and as long as that's real for you, those are valid.
I
Not what society wants us to do is like you said, just be a mom and dedicate yourself to be a mom, or just be a career woman, or do this and now you have to do this. It's like, no, what do you want to do? Right? Okay, Adela wanted to have her gallery. She got it. And then she realized, okay, yeah, I do want to find love. And that was her like beautiful picture, of what her dream life looked like. And I'm all about like whatever makes you happy, whatever dreams you have, if you want to have kids or not, that's your dream, and I hope it comes true for you, whatever it looks like.
You guys, that was such a tambora moment. I just gotta hit the tambora real
I
quick.
had to reach for it. Like,
Oh my
Give it
God,
to-
I'm so beautiful. Hi,
yeah,
Poochie.
it's such
This
a beautiful thing to know.
was-
I think the journey is, and the goal and the message here is to love your life and love what you've made of it and who you are and who you're touching and affecting, and you know, legacies can be created in so many different ways, and I love that.
I love
Yeah,
that
and be
too.
happy for people, like whatever their life looks like, as long as they're happy. Hey, I'm happy for you. What is that saying that everyone says? I love that for you, girl.
Yes.
You're
That's
happy.
basically,
You're
I'm
happy, and
happy
it's
for
showing.
you.
You're happy, and it's showing.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I'm happy for you, girl, because I can see that that makes you so happy. Even if it's not something that I want for myself, I'm so happy for you because I see you glowing.
I love that. And all I have to say is, Vanessa, look, there was a long time where doctors like diagnosed me infertile and they were like, nah, you can't have kids and it's not happening for you. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come to terms with that and I'm going to spend money on my dog and traveling the world. And that was it. And I was happy with that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the miracle of God and semen, it was just like, oh, I'm pregnant? Like how,
I
how
feel
did
like
this
you're describing
happen?
my life. Like,
That's why that's why I'm not knocking it. Like I never know, you never know, accidents happen. It's like, oh, guess what, guys? Someone finally knocked me up. I don't know what to
we could
say.
be having a whole different conversation next year,
It would
V,
be a
and you
whole
could be
difference. I was traveling the world, living my best life. Next, thing you know, it's like, oh, God was like,
Right. It's so crazy how semen works and God, of course, but like it just kind of like travels within you. Okay, I have to ask you my last question, which I'm sorry to deviate from the project for just a moment, but I'd like to get a little more personal. Although I feel like we've been getting personal this whole interview. My heart is like singing. Um, okay, I have a question for both Vanessa and Vivian, and I want you to imagine that you have a younger, on the come up, maybe just out of school, Vivian and Vanessa in front of you. And I'd like you to offer them words of wisdom, knowing what you know now, because guess what? They're listening to this podcast. Young Vivian, young Vanessa, and they need some wisdom, they need some advice. So what would be something that you would tell them if they were like physically in front of you right now?
I love you, girl.
Yes.
Never give up, and you can do and have it all. Your family is so supportive and have always only had your best interest at heart, regardless of what you may think when you're in your stubborn, you know, that stubborn time. uh and just to have grace for yourself. I mean, that's a lot of things to tell her, but just like because I look at my nieces. Oh, I don't want to get emotional. I've been getting
It's okay. It's okay. Get emotional. I'm here like wiping my left eye.
Zara, and I look at these baby girls, just so freaking gorgeous. And last night, my niece, she made a caring poster. She called it a sharing caring poster. And she's like, Mom, but I want to show it to Titi again. Like, you can tell. She goes, T for Titi, a T for Titi. It just makes you realize she looks up to me, and she's looking at me like I'm her favorite Titi. Like, she's something that she wants to do. So, and she has all pictures of me and her, or me from doing work and whatever. And it's different, with girls, because I mean, girls and children in general, but specifically, she's like, I'm seeing my Titi do this in real time, and I'm so happy she's having a little baby cousin too. So I think for me, I did not mean to get here. I think for me,
Okay.
that was such a big example, and I couldn't let that go last night, that had happened in real time, because this is the truth. That's the truth, that is what's coming up. These little spirits, these little dreams, these little people that want to share in a life that they see you making. So never give up. Always embrace your inner child, and just know that you can do it and you can have it all. I know it's a lot.
It's so much. Oh, I
Having
just
a good
gotta.
I saw her too, though. She's so, oh my God, I can't even just, los labios and the eye, everything. Qué linda. Just so beautiful.
Yeah, I want to jump in and just say, like, what you brought up is so important too, that your niece and other little Vivians are finally seeing themselves on screens. You guys, you and Vanessa, you're holding some really important torches. You know, there's not a lot of us out there, and there's not a lot of us that can get to the level that you guys have gotten to. It's a lot of responsibility. I know. I'm sorry to rub it in your face, but what you're doing is more than work. It's also you're providing that mirror that I spoke about earlier for the little Latinas, the Afro Latinas, the mixed breds like me that we don't even know who we are really because we don't see ourselves out there, especially in the media that we're consuming. It's so
Yeah.
important. What you're doing is profound. So, Vanessa, what would you tell little Vanessa if she was in front of you right now?
Um, I would say learn to love yourself and prioritize yourself because I feel like as a woman in this world, we're taught to learn to love other people and before we love ourselves. We taught that to be a good woman is to be selfless. And when you choose yourself, it's selfish, like it's a bad thing, right? And we end up over giving, oversharing to the point where we lose ourselves and we're depleted and we feel end up feeling used because we don't know how to say no because we haven't learned how to love ourselves yet, right? We haven't learned how to have true inner value. And I think that is so important that loving yourself is not just like all these external things, it's inner value, right? Like that for me is like defining, like you said, we don't get the time to get to know ourselves really because we don't know who we are. We're so taught to like be this for everyone else, be this for the man so the man can choose you, right? And and all of this like weird competition with women, it's like all of that comes down to really like how do we feel about ourselves? And you see it with women that truly love themselves are seeing the beauty in other women. They're connecting with other women and saying, hey, what happened to you? Let me believe you, right? And you start seeing like how we're all suffering. And it's because we have not allowed ourselves to breathe, to say, hey, it's okay. You can do this for you, and have each other's back. Like, take the time. I got you, girl. Go do that self-care, go do that self-love, go take that therapy lesson. You left that toxic relationship, you got a divorce. We're gonna go celebrate that. Okay.
I'm
Nothing
getting divorced, y'all. Yes.
Yes, we're gonna celebrate.
because what we're saying is no for the first time. No, I'm not going to put up with this and I'm choosing myself. You're choosing your own self-love. You know what you deserve. You know what people have told you that you're supposed to put up with. No, I don't have to put up. No one has to put up with any of that. We
Can
can
I
choose
get
to surround ourselves and be with people that love and make us feel good. And everyone else, like, I'm going to set some boundaries with you.
Amen?
But I'm going to choose
Amen.
myself.
Amen or a woman.
God,
Okay.
a woman.
Yes.
We are bringing it to church today, my girls.
Oh my God, this
Mi
has been
mujeres, pa mi muchachas. This was awesome.
This was so awesome. Speaking of love, the film comes out on Amazon, right? On Prime and Apple on the day of love, which every day should be Love Day, but Hallmark tells us that February 14th is the day we celebrate love and San Valentin. So everybody, please go stream this film on Apple TV and Prime Video. Say a little prayer. I'm going to say a little prayer that this film does astronomically well because it's so important, has such a beautiful message and a beautiful cast. Thank you, Vivian and Vanessa, for taking the time for Latinos Out Loud and your girl, Rachel La Loca. La puerta está abierta. I hope that you come back on the show to talk about your next projects. I can't wait to see what's next for you guys. God bless you both, and thank you so, so much.
Gracias, amor.
Thank you.
All right, LOLeros. This has been another episode of Latinos Out Loud. LOL if you like acronyms like me. You can follow us on the socials at We Are Latinos Out Loud. You can give us a call at 978 Latinos. Follow me at Rachel La Loca. And on that note, we out.
It's the Latinos Out Loud podcast.